most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Short, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together we
therapist.
are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course,
Keeping
Bob.
our distance in our secret bunker. Today we're going to talk about 5 pain-free, you say it,
Spondylolisthesis.
Spondylolisthesis core exercises at home. Improve daily activity if you do these exercises.
Say no more, Bob.
But by the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. Become part of our dysfunctional family. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, if you go to bobandbrad.com, go to the giveaway section. We're always giving something away. This week, we're giving away the Wobblesmarts Classic. Best balance board Brad and I have ever seen. Really adjustable, really a nice board.
Good for sprained ankles, too.
Yep. Could cause a sprained ankle too if you don't know what you're doing. Go to Facebook. It'll be pinned to the top of the page, the contest. If you want a short version of us, go to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. 60 seconds of Bob and Brad a day. Take it away with gratitude.
Bob, we do get a regular barrage of comments for people with spondylolisthesis. If you're not familiar with it, it's a big long term. It means in your spine, typically, we're going to talk about the lumbar spine or spondy. I'm going to say spondy to make it a little shorter. That's where it's most commonly occurs. And I'm very familiar with it because I have spondy. And as a matter of fact, I have x-rays so you can see what they look like. And now, if someone says you have spondy and they don't have x-rays to back it up, you got to get x-rays because it's very, very clear on x-rays. And I'll show you here these. Mike, can you tell me when we get right there? So
Mike,
this is
move out of the way.
The side view from me, lateral x-rays. Here's my hip. Here's my sacrum.
Show the vertebrae, Brad. So basically, we're talking about bones that stack up like that.
Right. Well, here we got L5 and L4, and you can see I've got them outlined in black. Now, they should be all in a line, but this L4 is moved forward or anteriorly about 2 centimeters. And L5 and S1 doesn't look like a real healthy deal either. But these were taken in 2013. At that point, my back pain was fairly consistent. Walking more than 3/4 of a mile, I'd get numbness down my leg because I was getting a pinched nerve because there was a component of stenosis in there. At this point, I was considering going to see a neurosurgeon and seeing if they could do some surgery to get rid of the stenosis. But I start doing the exercises that I'm going to show you.
Yeah, bravo to you, Brad. You did a really good job. I mean, I say this many times. I kid with Brad, but I think the average person would have gone through the surgery and they would probably be fairly disabled right now. And Brad, he's as active as can be. He still does triathlons.
Right.
And he's still sassy. So,
well, let's go over some of the symptoms,
typical
symptoms if you have spondy. Now, this is what I have and people I've worked with spondy. It's very typical if you're standing in one spot, statically standing. This happens to me when I'm shopping with my wife as she's going through clothes and I'm
how convenient
patiently waiting. Oh, my back will start to hurt. If I sit down, it goes away. It feels so much better. Very typical with spondy. If you do overhead work, washing the ceiling. I was painting my wife's bathroom this weekend. Gave me a sore back.
Your wife's bathroom? Don't you have two?
I use one downstairs.
Okay. Actually, I should joke. We do the same thing. I have
a it just works out better.
Yeah, it works out better.
Yeah, and so anyways, overhead activities, I'll give you a back ache. And I've got to admit, now when I do them compared to 6 years ago or 7 years ago, they're not as severe anymore. Also, once again,
prolonged walking.
Yeah, prolonged walking. Like I mentioned, with me, it was very consistent. 3/4 of a mile, back pain, numbness down my right leg.
And you couldn't run either, right, Brad?
I could very limitedly. I could jog, kind of. And now I'm up to 3 to 5 miles consistently without any problem.
And the other thing is, we should point out the spinal stenosis would have similar symptoms.
Yes.
So just because you're having these symptoms doesn't mean you have spondy. You could also have spinal stenosis, but these same,
You treat the same way.
yeah, you treat the same way.
You could
Exactly.
do the same
So,
exercise.
yeah,
Maybe we should have put that on the title.
there were,
Oh, anyways, one thing I do want to mention in my car, if I would sit for any length of time, half-hour drive to work, getting out of my car was a backache every day. That went on for a few years, and I used some supports and whatnot, lumbar supports, and I finally found this one, the Kibato. I'm not know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's memory foam, and I put that in my car, and it's changed my life.
now we don't even know if that one's available anymore, but there are ones that are similar to that,
Right.
that are memory foam and about similar shape. So if you can find one of those. Now, I don't like that one. So,
Right.
I don't have spinal stenosis or spondy. And so it's a very personal thing.
Right is.
So
You may have spondy and it may not work for you. I can't guarantee you.
Yeah.
Your shift may be different than mine, and almost certainly is. And it might be at a different level, which may change it. This is something you have to deal with.
I like that in my office chair.
You do?
But I don't like it in my car. See,
This video is about me, Bob.
Yeah, all right, that's all about Brad. All right,
Okay.
Brad, do some work now.
Yeah, let's go to the exercises.
Let's get some exercises.
The
in.
only thing I found that works, and you do have to get a ball. You cannot do it without the ball. At least I can't.
Yeah,
I can, but this makes it work. So if you get a ball, you don't sit on it, but just to get the right size ball, if you sit on it, and this is pretty forgiving, your thigh should be about parallel to the floor.
Yeah,
I'm a little low here,
little low.
and it works just fine.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it gets in a ballpark. Just don't get a little one,
Or a little one or a
the
real big
great
one,
big
right.
one. So, and these are quite simple, luckily. And this supports your back. All I do is I grab the ball. If you do it with your shoes on, or I'll do it with my shorts on, so my skin.
Yeah, nice socks, Brad.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
I like them. And I can squeeze the ball and I can hook it with my feet. And what we're going to do is just simply lift the ball up in the air to here. And every time I do these, my back feels better. If I got a sore back, I do these, it feels better. If it's not sore, it feels fine. I just know I'm exercising.
He's getting two benefits from this, if I might point this out, Brad.
Yeah.
One, he's getting a little bit of back movement, although it's mostly from the hips, but he's getting core strengthening. That's the key.
Right.
He's strengthening that core, which is going to help protect the spine and allow you to go through life without increased pain once it acts like is your personal back brace.
Right.
How many do you do with this, Brad?
I
know-
do 50 of each.
Yeah,
There's
you're not
4
going to
of
be
these.
able to start by doing 50.
Right.
Believe me, you're going to probably start by doing 10 if you're lucky.
I do these 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. And so I do 50 of those. And then my next one is I keep my feet on there and relax them. I put my arms here. And then I work my upper core. Like Bob said, we want to strengthen the abdominal muscles. And when I was doing this one, that actually gaps the facets, which if you got stenosis, it's going to help your stenosis.
Now this too, he's keeping the back straight, flat to the ground, the low back, that's not coming up. And a lot of times you're almost moving the head up towards the ceiling, not curling it forward really.
Not this.
Not that, moving it up towards the ceiling. Yep. And that's getting the rectus abdominis, that's getting the muscles in the front of the abdomen, and that's going to help strengthen that part of the core.
So you may start with 10 of these. And like I said, I do 50. Now, my next one is I call the double crunch. The knees go up and the ball goes up and my elbows go toward the knees. And then I work this.
Same thing, not curling too much with the head as much as you can. You kind of go straight up.
Yep, not that.
And again, working the entire core there with this exercise.
And then the last one, to get some obliques, I do this. I take right elbow to the left knee in the same posture I was in the previous exercise. And then I just do this.
But again, he's keeping the back flat against the floor.
Right.
Yeah, he's just rotating up by the shoulders, but he's not curling the back because it's really important that you keep the back straight. So
that's a good
how
workout.
many do you do 50 of those too?
Yeah, so it's 200 altogether.
Wow.
But it took me a while to get there. And, you got to do something for the abs anyways. Now, the other thing I do add, we
gonna say,
mentioned
I always like this one that you do, Brad.
we don't want to extend our back overly, but we don't want to lose that motion
Right,
of what we
right.
have. So on the ball, and this really needs to be done on the ball. I thought about saying you could do the option of using the pillow on the floor,
No,
but
no.
it's not going to work.
This is probably one of the better exercises for keeping you straight when you're trying to deal with spondylolisthesis. I mean, because it's going to want to you're going to want to creep to that positioning of being bent over.
Right.
And
So I just do hip extensions, 10 on each leg, feeling these muscles work, and then I put the hands on the ball. This is not an exercise to get your muscles big and bulky. This is strictly therapeutic. And I extend up whatever is pain-free.
Right.
If I go back up here, it hurts. If I go to here, it doesn't hurt. And so I'm going to do it in the pain-free range. I do 10 of those. And then I go back to 10 on this leg, and then 10 on this leg. And then my next one, I extend and rotate in a
Sure.
pain-free range. And I go this way, 5 times on each side. The last spondy patient I had, I was teaching in the exact same program. He could go to the right, but he could not go to the left without pain. So his job was to go straight up to the center and only to the right. And as time goes on, test to the left. And with any luck at all, he's going to begin to start going to the left and to the right without pain.
Yeah, these are golden. These are, I think, some of the key exercises you should be doing, Brad, for them out there, because you're strengthening the back muscles a little bit, but you're keeping that back from causing you to be bent over.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, you don't want to have this
Yep.
happening. We want to stay with good
And
posture.
I've absolutely, in fact, one of my last patients that had this, Brad, she had spinal stenosis,
Okay.
but she was walking like this. And it took, we were working on trying to get her straighter, and we were having a tough time.
It works better for you here because you're in the camera better.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, yeah, that is a posture you absolutely want to avoid if possible.
Right, because you're going to end up with other issues.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not going to have other back problems because you're bent over.
Right.
So,
So I think we
I'm
got to
stay-
call it
stay
end,
away from
Bob.
you.
We're going to call it end. That's all, folks.